not getting anything done, and I just feel like napping. And I think that is because it's very hard to replenish ourselves and counter that sometimes palpable and sometimes not palpable anxiety that many of us are feeling about not wanting to get sick, about not wanting to infect anybody else, about people who are suffering either from COVID or for financial reasons, or trying to figure out what the right thing to do is with kids and grandchildren in school. So our practice tonight will be about stillness, which is one of the reasons we practice yoga to begin with. And so even when we're going through a lot of more strenuous asana, the goal is to use all that movement so that we can come to rest and be quiet and stop the busyness and the mental chatter in the mind, the vrittis. So we're going to begin today in Baddha Konasana. Baddha means bound. So bound angle. Kona is an angle. Baddha Konasana. So your feet, soles are together. Your hands are on your ankles, gently, lightly, and not even so much to hold them in place, just to have a place to let the hands rest. Now, close your eyes and imagine your back. And if you are one of those people, which many of us are, who tend to have too much of an anterior tilt of the pelvis, so that you create too much of an arch, an overarch in the lumbar spine, pull your pelvis back, lengthening the spine so the curve there is not as pronounced. Allow your knees to fall out to the sides, cushioning them as feels good. You can always extend your feet forward a little bit and widen the angle if that works for you. And begin to bring your awareness to the breath. So as long as we're alive, the breathing is one thing that is never completely still. But when we are still and relaxed, the breath takes very little effort. It becomes autonomic and is actually part of what helps us let go of thought and busyness. And reactiveness. So I'm going to ask you now to bring the chin to the chest. Let the head fall forward. And keeping the back at the same angle it is, so keeping the pelvis just where it is without too much of a tilt. Take a deep breath in. And let's exhale to the count of 8 and see where we end up. No gripping with the hands. 7, 6, move slowly. 5, 4, if you come to a place where you need to stop, do so. 2, 1. Chin is still on the chest. So we're warming gently and without too much movement, the outsides of the thighs, the IT band, so part of the hips, the adductors, the muscles inside of the thighs. And by keeping the belly toned, in other words, engaging the muscles just enough, so while there's not a real contraction of the belly pulling in, the belly is not sticking out. Now take an inhale, lift the head, look forward. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring them out with palms up. And then bring the hands behind you, fingers point behind. Chin comes back to the chest. See if you can bring your knees or your calves perhaps a little closer to the mat. Work on that pelvic tilt again. So you want to pull the belly in and then lift up through the spine. And then inhale, lift the head, look up to the ceiling, open the chest, bringing the shoulder blades together. Feel the space between them narrowing. If the head is comfortable, dropping back a little more. Bring it back. And exhale back. We're going to tuck the left foot under and then bring the right knee just a little forward of the left knee, taking the right ankle and putting it over the medial arch, the arch in the inside part of the foot. So your toes are pointing back. So left hip, it feels a little lower here than the right hip because of the legs. So bring your hands to your hips. And now take your left hand to the right calf and your right hand behind you, gently on fingertips. Take your left elbow, bend it out, even if you have to move your left hand a bit, and then pull it back in. So there's a nice smooth line from your left ear down to your left shoulder. Look out laterally, sit up tall, and then close the eye. And inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Take a few more breath cycles, noticing what kind of movements you begin to sense inside. Sometimes it almost feels like you're feeling a lot of molecules bumping into each other. You're feeling heat. You're feeling some kind of friction. Just see if you can tune into a little more stillness here. Inhale, open your eyes. Exhale, turn your head forward, bringing the fingertips forward and just switching sides. So coming onto the knees, left ankle is, or left arch is under, left ankle is over the right arch. Be sure you get both your sit bones down on the mat. And if you can't quite get the left one down, use a little bit of cushioning. Right hand comes to left thigh, left fingers gently behind. And just so you can really relax in the neck and the shoulder area on the right side. So open the shoulder and then place the hand back. Looking off to the left, opening the left quadrant of the chest where the heart is, a little more, but with no tension. Sitting up tall. Feel the sit bones rooted on the mat. Close your eyes. Now, if something is keeping you from an inner stillness, like a tension in the toes or something, move a little bit, adjust, and then come back to the breath and this feeling of still, still, still. Open the eyes, turn back to center. Bring your left foot in, tuck both feet under, and we're in Sukhasana. So we're going to come into our Nadi Shodhana breath, the alternate nostril breath. So Nadi is a channel. And basically the way we breathe, and this is a scientific corollary, but in yoga, it is said that there are two separate channels for the breath. There's the Ida and the Pingala. And one is on the left side, and that brings the breath in more, and the other one is on the right and brings the breath up more. And then there's all sorts of ways they tend to work together and exercises that are done with them. But think, without needing to be attached to those words or anything like that, of where your breath first takes place. So there's an impulse in the brain, and it's fairly forward, and it comes to the nostrils. And then we have to invite the chest and the diaphragm in to breathe. And then to exhale, the diaphragm pushes back up. So this takes a little belly contraction. The breath comes out. So I want you, just as we're breathing today, from one nostril at a time, to think of the breath going down and the breath coming up. And we're going to do it with a Dhyana Mudra. So a mudra is a gesture. And what you'll do is lay your left hand with the palm up over whichever ankle is topmost in your lap. And then bring the right hand right on top of it. Get the hands comfortable. And then bring the tips of the thumbs together. And maybe your fingers want to curl up a little bit, that's fine. So try to make sure the spine is straight and the pelvis is neutral. You're not overarching the lower back. Shoulders are back. Space from the ears to the shoulder. See if you can feel a bit of a lift in the crown of the head. Sit here for a moment, finding stillness. Noticing how this stillness shows you things in your body you perhaps were not aware of. And then you'll take your right hand, assuming you're right-handed. If you're not, take your left, leaving the other one in your lap. And the middle and second fingers, or the thumb and the middle finger, or thumb and index finger, sorry, come to the nostrils. I'm starting over. Middle finger on the forehead. So go up about 1/2 inch from where the eyebrows meet, your third eye, the amygdala in the brain, the pineal gland. Thumb is on one nostril and it's the fourth finger on the other. So just push them closed for a moment and then open them both. And we're going to alternate pushing one and then the other. I'm going to guide you through part of this, and then I'm going to be quiet so you can really begin to feel and pull this into a stillness within you. So take a deep breath in through the nose first. Exhale through the mouth. Thumb is on the right nostril. Inhale through the left. Tap it shut with the left finger. Lift the thumb off the right nostril and exhale. Hold it here for a moment. Inhale here. Tap shut. Exhale through left nostril. Inhale, trying to make the breath the same in duration, but with each cycle, perhaps with a little more capacity to draw in more breath and to exhale more breath. Inhale. Tap shut. Exhale, ring finger comes off. Inhale. Tap. Exhale, right. Inhale. Close. Exhale. Close. Take the thumb and the middle finger off the nose, keeping the middle finger on the third eye. And see if you can continue without using your fingers. So really connecting with the Ida and Pingala channels. So breathing, if you can, just through the right nostril. And pause, hold. Don't get tension just because you're holding it. Exhale through the left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Staying just as you are. Only move the right finger a little bit off the brow center. See if you can feel the energy of that finger subtly connecting with that space. And then bring the right hand back down to Dhyana Mudra. Tops of the thumbs, kiss. Breathe gently through both nostrils. Join the hands and bring them into Anjali Mudra at the heart. Slowly open the eyes. Gaze follows the fingers as they lift up as high as they can go. Exhale down. Bring the right foot forward. And using your fingers with both hands, right at the base of the phalanges, the toes, push the ball of the foot down and try to lift all the toes up as high as you can. And then if they're not coming off the ground, use your index finger to pull them a little bit and then separate them with the index finger. And then with both hands, pulling up on the toes to kind of work the little knuckles in there. And then the hands on the instep come down to the ball of the foot. Notice how much higher the toes might be now that you've worked them a little bit. And gently lay them down. And we'll do the other side. Left foot comes forward, right foot tucks in, knee is down. So fingertips right where the toes join the top of the foot, the metaphalanges, it's called. So pushing down with the fingers, just try to lift the toes. So notice the big toe, it's almost in order. The bigger it is, the easier it is to come off the mat. Help the toes that need help coming up. Index finger between big and second toe. Second and third, really gently pull it through, giving it permission to find space. And then work the toes, wiggling them with a forefinger and thumb. And now, notice how lifted all the toes are on their own without even any pressure from the fingers. And bring the left leg back, coming onto the knees. So we're coming into hands and knees, all fours. So we want our knees under the middle of the thigh, under the hip, and our wrists under our elbows, second fingers pointing straight ahead. Let's take the right hand, bring it back a little bit and come onto the back of the hand. Lift the fingers up off the mat as though you were trying to bring your fingers toward the wrist. And then spread them out wide as you lower them. See if each fingertip can touch. And then bring that hand down on the mat and notice how different it feels than the other hand. So we're creating space for stillness and quiet in our bodies. Left hand comes back. Spread the fingers wide. So each finger as close to the top as possible is making contact with the mat. Feel the radius, the arm bones, the humerus bones. Feel them pushing down into the arm, into the wrist. Lift the fingers up. Spread them wide. And come onto your left hand. We're going to come into some cat-cows, tucking the feet. So again, neutral pelvis. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, lift the mid-spine, pulling the pelvis forward, pulling the tailbone up, chin down, arching like a cat. Exhale very slowly, slow motion. Don't bend the elbows. Feel with your gaze as though you're watching an ant crawling forward toward the top of the mat. Lift the hips, but again, we're not trying to overarch the back. Tone the belly so it doesn't just hang, but it's not a huge contraction here, like it will be now as we exhale. Pull the tailbone forward, arch the back, chin to chest. Feel the fingers in the mat. There's just a little bit of a sort of suction feeling inside the palm, but fingers are flat. Exhale. Slowly. Try this if you're comfortable with the eyes closed. Exhale. Arms stay still. Legs stay still. Inhale. One more. Inhale. Bring your hips toward your heels. Walk the hands back. So your toes are tucked under. Keep walking the heels back or the hands back. So you come up on your heels and you're in a squat. And slowly making sure the feet are pointed forward. Slowly, you don't have to get your heels down yet, but slowly bring some weight into the fingers. Keep the knees bent. And as you lift, see when you can get your heels down and then rock the weight toward the heels. Bring the hands to the thighs. Keep the knees bent and just bring the torso close to the thighs. And then let the backs of the hands rest outside the feet. And begin to move, swaying gently side to side. So notice how nice it feels not to overuse the hands. They are possibly the busiest part of us, other than what's on our face and in our head. Bring the hands up to mid-calf now. See if you can bring the feet hip width apart and a bit pigeon-toed. Feel the weight now right on the pad under the big toe, on the inside edge of the heel, on the outside edge and on the pad right below the pinky toe. And begin straightening the arms. You keep the knees as bent as you need to. Straighten the arms. Middle finger is down the shin bone. And just bend one knee and then the other. Gently and without a lot of movement. Beginning to warm up the hamstring muscles. Notice what's going on in the knee joint. Notice what you feel in each hip. Now making fists gently, bring them to the sides of the ilium and slowly lift up, slowly. And notice that lifting yourself up, which is something we do a million times a day, if we're paying attention and going slowly, takes a whole lot of effort. So as we begin practicing with stillness, do some arm circles here while I'm talking, and then go in the other way. As we practice this moving with stillness and bringing stillness into movement and going from movement to stillness, begin to notice what you take for granted as your body busily moves with a lot of energy all day long. Coming to Tadasana, mountain pose, isometrically moving your legs apart. So that means that you're not lengthening or shortening the muscles in your legs. You're not even moving really, but the energy, the subtle energy is pulling them out. You'll feel more weight on the outside edges of the feet. And then inhale with the palms up, gaze comes up. Exhale down. Bringing the arms behind you. Interlacing the fingers. Notice which thumb is closer to your bum than the other, because we're going to go do the other side too. Notice how you're standing. If there's that tendency to overarch, pull your tailbone down, lift up in the belly. Broad heart. Inhale. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Fold forward. So don't exert yourself by trying to lift the arms. Let them decide how high they want to come. Notice what you're feeling in the jaw and the temples here. Notice what you're feeling inside the skull. Exhale, slowly reverse. Pull the belly in. Round the shoulders back. And then interlace the hands the other way. Inhale. Exhale. Feel what you're feeling. I know how redundant that sounds, but how often are we not consciously aware of what we're feeling in our bodies? Pain gets our attention. Pleasurable sensation does. But other than that, we take movement for granted. Inhale back up. And come to the front of the mat. Inhale up. Exhale to heart center. Close the eyes. And step the left foot back. So here, you've just pulled off a balanced pose without even looking. Now you might look, open your eyes, and look to see if the back toes are forward, and then adjust the hips so the AIS points up here, the top of the hip. That's if you want to take your finger and feel down on the front of the ilium where you feel that little kind of bump on the hip. That's your anterior superior iliac spine. So bend the right knee forward, lift the left heel, and effortlessly lift yourself up into a high lunge. Inhale, exhale. Slowly come back, left heel on the mat, right leg straightens. Inhale up, exhale, hinge at the waist, coming down into Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Fingertips can be on the mat, the whole hand can be on the mat. You can use blocks. You can bring fists in a little more. If you're clenching the right knee, let it go. Find a way to keep your hips square. So you're going to pull your right hip back a little and pull your left hip forward. Find a way to do this that does not require too much movement or effort. And bend the right knee. Lift back up to crescent. Bring your hands to your hips. You're going to slowly lift the back leg as you straighten the right. Now, if it's not comfortable to straighten the right altogether, don't do it. So pulling the hip bones together, that's what you want to have, this feeling that you're squeezing them together. You can keep your hands on your hip or lift the arms forward and take any version of Warrior 3 that works for you. Try to stay here, letting go of overzealous effort. See if you can find stillness. Exhale, arms down, and back into Anjali Mudra. Take a pause. And then we'll begin on the other side. So you can face forward. I'm just facing sideways so you can see me. So right foot steps back in a lunge. Square the hips. Get the toes relaxed. So we're engaging muscles here, but we're not trying to over control them. So think of last week's lesson, if you were with us, a parigraha, that feeling of non-gripping. Very subtle difference between engaging muscular energy, but not overdoing it, not clamping. So working with yourself in a kind of Zen stillness. And slowly bring the weight back to the right heel. Inhale the arms up. Hinge at the waist. And with control, but very gentle, minimal effort, coming down to Parsvottanasana. Inhaling and exhaling. And letting the pose do you. Letting the breath do you. Letting go of the need to control, to fidget, to make movement. Breathe and find stillness. And inhale, lift back up, hands on the hips. Breathe, bend the left knee. And then as you begin to straighten it, or as close to straight as you want to go, you'll lift the other leg. It doesn't have to come high. Hands can stay on the hips. Arms can come out to the side, forward. Inhale. Exhale. Going for stillness. And down. Coming back to the Tadasana. Hands to heart in Anjali Mudra. Close the eyes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale the arms up. Exhale. Step one foot out and then the other. Folding halfway into a prasarita. So toes can be a little out if that feels good to you. Hands come down to the mat. And then find your way onto your knees. Tuck the toes under. If you need padding under the knees, put some there. Inhale, lift onto the knees in Vajrasana, Thunderbolt pose. So again, attention on the low back so as not to overarch. Pull the pelvis forward. Exhale, round the hands down. Interlace them. Hinge at the waist. Lifting the arms. Bringing the head down. Hips come toward heels. Your head can be on a pillow or a block. Let go. Can you allow the feet to relax? See what you're feeling now inside. Does it still feel like that intense rush of molecules? Or has it hopefully quieted down? And lifting back up. Hands to one side. So you're going to straighten out here in Padottanasana. Well, in Dandasana, staff pose. So at this point, bring your hands to your sitting bones, and you're going to take the flesh and sort of pull it back and out. So you really can feel the sitting bones there. Feet are together, sitting up tall. Take the left foot in toward the right leg is straight. Bring the hands now on either side of the right thigh. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the spine, lift the crown of the head. Right toes are pointed up to the ceiling. Bend in the elbows and gently fall forward. So you can stay on hands. If it works for you, come onto forearms. Letting yourself melt onto the left leg. Inhale. Exhale. Stillness. And lifting up. Bring the arms up. Make sure you can feel the right sitting bone. Hips are squared forward. Take the palms and face them forward. Flex the right foot. And exhale down here. Let your hands land wherever they will, on the shin, on either side of the leg, on the foot. Find your breath. Find the stillness. Lift up. Take the left foot, bring it back so left knee is forward. Trianga Mukha Kaipada. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. So if you stay on hands and don't go too far, this is fine. Close your eyes. Feel both sit bones. You be the judge of when you need to go further and when you're okay just as you are. Softening. And lift back up. Left leg forward. Right foot into the left thigh. Again, get the flesh off of the sitting bones that can tend to make us a little uneven in the pelvis. Hands on either side of the right leg. So don't feel like you have to twist too far. Inhale and exhale. So walk the hands forward if it feels good. Come onto the elbows if that works for you. And sometimes it could work on one side and not the other. We're not battling, we're not resisting. We are surrendering to stillness. And lift up. Arms come up. Shoulders over hips, left toes flexed. Exhale down over the left leg. Breathe. Enter the cool, quiet space of you. place where sameness exists no matter what's going on outside of you. And inhale up. Last one, bringing the right foot back. If that doesn't work for you, perhaps just repeat what we did. So the inside arch of the right foot is nice and tucked around the buttock. Lift high, leading from the navel center. Exhale. Pull through the crown of the head, just like you were pulling a little birthday present ribbon off the top of a package that you were opening, delicate with even the wrapping of the gift. And lift up. Bring your arms to your sides. Straighten out both legs. And then separate them. Let the feet fall out. Scoot forward. Keep the knees bent. Come onto elbows. Letting the head rest on the mat. Inhaling and exhaling. So arms are out in a T. Windshield wipe your knees to the right a little bit. And then slowly to the left. To the right. And to the left. Once more. Keep them here at the right. Turn the head to the left. Turn the left hand so the palm is up. See if you can lower the left knee just a little more, getting a stretch in the left psoas. Soft, serene, long breath. Turn the palm back down, back to center of the head. Knees go the other way. Keep them there. Head turns toward the right. Right palm faces upward. Eyes softly close. Breathe. Back to center. Hug the knees into the chest. Interlace the hands in front of the shins. Rock side to side. And then lift the head. Give yourself a good squeeze. And open up into a prone Tarasana, star pose. Legs are wide, arms are above head and wide. And then bend the elbows so your arms are in cactus pose or looking like gold posts. Soften the toes. Let the calves become heavy on the mat. Feel the tailbone at rest, shoulder blades, the elbows and the back of the hands, the back of the skull. Taking a few minutes for Shavasana. Let you settle in with a reading. Hear the sound that stillness makes. Hear the whispers it creates. Feel the body melt in praise as stillness creeps into the day. Like a starlit heavenly dome, resting in stillness. Now you are home. So I invite you to take a little more time in Shavasana if that's your pleasure. Or if not, to turn on to whichever side feels good. Taking your time to unravel and come to a seated pose. And wherever you are, is where you are. Honor that. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells the warrior Arjuna, where you are is where you need to honor yourself. In a full raging battle and in the stillness of your heart. Namaste.
Thank you, Katie. Is that everything?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dina.
That was very wonderful. It was relaxing. I appreciate it.
Oh, good. You did it too?
I did.
Oh, great. Great.
We don't move quite like you, but.
Well, We didn't do a whole lot of movement, really.
Thank you, Katie. This is Bill and Beth. It's the first time we've been back here online with you.
Oh,
just-
really? Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
we
nice. Go
I
on.
don't turn the video on here.
Well, it's nice to have you guys back.
There's a
Hi, Katie. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Are you doing well?
Yep. You?
Great. Yeah. Hanging in there.
Yeah. Same here.
Okay. Well,
Katie.
good. I'm glad you had a gentle class if you're just getting back into